What if Rob Van Dam had been chosen as the Alliance's centerpiece on July 9th, 2001? The documented road begins on March 23, 2001. WWF's parent company announced its purchase of the WCW brand, tape library, and other intellectual property. That announcement did not mean every WCW wrestler or contract came with those assets. ECW's final pay-per-view occurred on January 7th, followed by its April bankruptcy filing. RVD nevertheless entered July with visible credentials: a recorded 699-day television championship reign and prior WWF exposure during the 1997 WWF ECW program. On July 9th, RVD and Tommy Dreamer jumped the guardrail and joined the ECW attack. Shane McMahon then announced the storyline union of WCW and ECW as the Alliance. The close of that broadcast is our exact cutoff. Beginning July 10th, everything becomes fictional. Our first booking decision is simple: no hunt for an outside savior. Alliance leadership selects RVD as its principal wrestler. The booking reason is visible, not invented backstage lore. His ECW resume, distinctive offense, previous WWF exposure, and immediate connection to the invasion angle. The first fictional television episode keeps the owners at ringside and puts RVD in the ring. Their imagined announcement is summarized, not quoted. The Alliance will prove legitimacy through its athletes, and its centerpiece will compete every week, rather than deliver authority speeches. Chris Jericho challenges the premise through a summarized fictional response. One surprise attack does not make RVD a main event leader. Management answers by naming RVD captain of the Alliance's 5-man invasion team. If he fails, the faction loses its first chance at sporting credibility. Weekly matches establish the strategy. RVD does not dominate heavyweights through strength. He creates distance, attacks from changing angles, and survives by forcing mistakes. The presentation protects what makes him different, while showing that a spectacular move alone cannot captain a team. At our hypothetical invasion supercard, Team Alliance is RVD, Booker T, Diamond Dallas Page, Rhino, and Lance Storm. Team WWF is Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker, Kane, and Jericho. RVD enters last for his side, visually confirming the choice before the bell. RVD spends the opening stretch directing traffic rather than chasing highlights. Storm absorbs an early elimination. Rhino removes Kane, and Angle catches Page. Booker and RVD then isolate Jericho. The sequencing makes the Alliance feel organized, without making its captain invincible. The finish leaves RVD and Jericho as the final survivors. Jericho counters one aerial attempt, but RVD adjusts, wins the next exchange, and lands the 5-star frog splash, clean. One pin does not settle their hierarchy, but it gives the Alliance undeniable proof. The victory creates a consequence. For this hypothetical calendar, Steve Austin holds the WWF Championship, and RVD's decisive fall earns him the SummerSlam challenge. The centerpiece now has to face the company's standard-bearer without the shelter of a team match. Austin's fictional strategy targets RVD's torso and landing base. RVD answers by beating Kane in a television main event, escaping the power game, and converting a missed charge into one decisive aerial finish. Austin attacks afterward, ensuring the challenger reaches SummerSlam under pressure rather than untouched. Booker T becomes the internal counterweight. His summarized fictional position is practical. WCW's standard-bearer should not be reduced to backup for an ECW recruit. RVD's position is equally clear. Leadership belongs to whoever delivers. The conflict is about method, not fabricated backstage resentment. At the fictional SummerSlam, Austin controls the first half by denying takeoff space. RVD finally changes the geometry, with kicks from the apron and a rolling attack. After 20 minutes, Austin is down, and RVD climbs, apparently one clean landing from the championship. Then comes the reversal. Booker sees Austin reaching for the belt and intervenes first, striking the champion before RVD can jump. The referee awards RVD the match by disqualification, but Austin retains. Booker intended to protect the Alliance. Instead, he denied its centerpiece a possible defining victory. The imagined fallout is summarized carefully. Booker argues that the champion was about to cheat. RVD answers that a centerpiece who cannot choose his own risk is only a mascot. Alliance members divide over the issue. and leadership can no longer solve it with another staged display of unity. To prevent a walkout, the fictional alliance sanctions RVD versus Booker at Unforgiven. The winner becomes undisputed team captain and receives a no-interference championship rematch at No Mercy. The stakes connect the internal dispute directly to the Invasion's next strategic move. Booker controls the mat and blocks the first frog splash. Late in the match, Dreamer slides a chair toward RVD. RVD kicks it away, survives Booker's next combination, and wins clean on his second aerial attempt. Rejecting help answers SummerSlam more powerfully than any fictional speech could. Booker does not turn into a subordinate. He accepts the result and remains WCW's standard-bearer, while RVD becomes the overall captain. Their rivalry produces structure. Booker coordinates the team, RVD sets its competitive standard, and neither owner can play one roster against the other. At No Mercy, the championship rematch carries a strict no-interference condition. Alliance and WWF wrestlers are barred from ringside. This is RVD's fairest opportunity, but also his most dangerous, because a clean result will define whether he is already the better main event wrestler. RVD comes closer than at SummerSlam, escaping one decisive hold and forcing Austin to adapt. The champion rolls away from the final frog splash, catches RVD during the recovery, and wins clean. RVD loses the title chase, but the result protects the value of clean competition he demanded. The loss changes the objective. In our fictional timeline, Alliance ownership proposes a winner-take-all Survivor Series match. Victory means control, defeat means extinction. RVD rejects both outcomes. His summarized position is that wrestlers need a place to compete, not another owner's monopoly. RVD and Booker unite the roster behind a refusal to compete unless the terms change. The fictional WWF Authority accepts the gamble. If the Alliance wins, it receives a 12-week weekly television slot with independent matchmaking. If it loses, the faction disbands. Survival replaces conquest. Survivor Series returns to the 5-man teams. Storm and Page fall first for the Alliance. Kane and Jericho are eliminated for WWF. Rhino removes Undertaker but is caught by Angle. The planned attrition leaves RVD and Booker against Austin and Angle, the 4 men who embody the conflict. Booker prevents Angle from trapping RVD, then deliberately draws Angle into a prolonged exchange. Booker eliminates him, but is immediately caught by Austin. That sacrifice pays off their entire conflict. The man who once intervened without permission now helps by trusting RVD with the final fight. Austin survives RVD's first aerial finish and nearly ends it. RVD escapes the next counter, creates distance with a spinning kick, and lands the second frog splash. The clean 3 count wins no championship. It wins 12 weeks of existence, and makes RVD the centerpiece through action. The hypothetical aftermath begins in a smaller studio, not a victory parade. RVD declines a ceremonial championship and enters an 8-wrestler tournament alongside everyone else. Booker oversees the bracket. The owners lose matchmaking control. The Alliance survives as a competitive brand, and its centerpiece becomes accountable to the system he fought to create.